Hi, I'm Dave from Military Antiques Toronto. Take two. Um, Today I'm going to show you some of the items that came in the door from a collection and some mail that came in the door. Um, some of this stuff was stored in a place that's very dirty, so it needs a good wiping off and a good cleaning, but I'll get to that. So you never know what you're going to get. Weirdest things walk in the door, and the weirdest things call. People call and offer you stuff. So. Just to clear some of this counter space, okay, so who cares, right? C3 gas mask, who cares, right? Except that it's not a C3 gas mask. That's an Air Force one. How did I know that? I didn't keep the box because it had, it was so destroyed from age, but you could still read the label where it said 8-wing Trenton. So I know this was sent off to an RCAF base. Why is it white? Because there's a insert in there that comes out. That's just for transit. So that's a C3, Canadian Forces C3 gas mask for the Air Force. So I'm assuming this hooks into the oxygen system in the aircraft as part of the CBRN stuff. Pretty rare, truthfully. It's a size medium. It was unissued. It is unissued, and that's your drinking straw, in case you didn't know. So that goes into your canteen, and you can drink from there. But literally, this isn't something you find every day. So needless to say, I jumped all over that because I knew what it was. The rest of the gas masks I received were nothing like this. There's only one. It's probably actually the only one I've ever had. And you know what? This is only relevant to people who collect Air Force or CBRN, NBC stuff. I get it. Not for me, but whatever. Hey, as long as you're happy, right? So there's that. I wish it was a loofah. There you go, according to my employee Sterling. But then you'd have to watch Stripe to know what I'm talking about. So, I wish I was a loofah. Thompson machine gun, transit case, storage case. I have picked up a couple of these. The other two are still in the wax sealed cardboard. Not one marking on it, except for that stamp right on there, Thompson submachine gun, caliber 45. To the best of my knowledge, these were not issued post-war because they were replaced by the grease gun. And obviously Thompson's a pig to carry because it's machined steel. So it's not some lightweight gun, and 45 ammo is heavy. So I get the grease gun thing, but if this was a drum mag instead of a stick mag, it's a lot rarer for the transit case, but you know what? Try and find one. It's pretty cool, is what it is. It's more stuff, and that'll get photoed and listed sooner than later, hopefully. So there's that. This is a ANPRC 10, which was used from Korea up to early Vietnam. It's a backpack radio. Does it work? I have no idea. I'd like to say yes. I don't know. It's got the backpack with it. Carrying set, ANPR, a date on that. Oh, look, it's 69 dated, so it's early Vietnam. It is marked on the face here with the tag. It says Signal Corps, radio, receiver, transmitter, PRC-10, U.S. Army. I don't know if it works, as I said, but that's something different. So I picked that up just because it was available. So that'll get photoed and listed also, hopefully sooner than later. One more thing to get rid of, right? Swagger stick. I haven't opened the mail yet. Saving that till last because that's interesting. Royal Military College. RMC, bamboo, swagger stick, and there goes the front door. I'm waiting for the dog to start barking. So that's kind of nice. There you go. I just turned on the warning system, telling me that someone's there. Isn't that nice? Let's see. What else do I have? Field phone. Picked it up. I'm trying to hook it up to someone to see if they're dumb enough to hold the leads while I crank it, and someone else has walked in the door with more stuff. So this is a Signal Corps, U.S. Army Signal Corps field phone in the case. Clearly says case telephone set. I did pick up a pair of these. Here's the crank. So I'm sure you've all watched MASH and shows that on there. So there's that. That'll get listed. Well, not probably today, probably next week. But actually, it probably won't be till next week till you see this anyways. The other day I showed a compass. It was a black P8 compass. So, as I said to you at the time about the gray case. So, here's a gray case, just like I said. I have, in this case, a P8 compass and a P6 compass. Sorry, I have a P4 and a P... what's this one say? This is horrible condition-wise. It's covered in dirt. It's been sitting outside. It needs a good cleaning. So this was overhauled in '57 by Aviation Electric. Does not say. I think this is the P8 and that's a P6 or P4 or something. Oh look, Air Ministry painted over. You won't be able to see it on the camera, so I don't even bother. These are filled with rubbing alcohol, and they're used obviously for navigation because it's a compass. So I have both sizes here. So there's the smaller one and the bigger one, and they will get listed. So that says type P4, and that's a P6 or P8. I thought they were P6 and P8. You know what? I'm sure someone is going to say something about that. So there's the Air Ministry brass label. It's not been painted over. And let's see, without wearing this too much, because it needs a good cleaning. I'm trying to keep clean for today. That's not going to work, obviously. So there is compass and case. Great to stick out on your counter or whatever. So just more stuff. So there's that. So those will get listed and photoed as soon as possible. That is the base for the compass. So it's a leveling base, Air Ministry stamp. As you can see right there, that's exactly what those are. So they're nothing rare, but they do come around. This is a interceptor plotter. So it's for the navigator to use in a bomber, transport bomber. Here's the problem. It came in a nice wooden box. Great box. Love the box. One problem. Box was so, I didn't look inside the box. I just opened it, went, yep, okay, when I bought it. And it just got delivered on Friday. And I opened it and realized that the bottom of the box was full of mold. So I did something I would never normally do. I threw it in the dumpster. I had to throw it out. It was growing so badly that everyone in here would have started sneezing their head off. So it's just not worth keeping. So I took everything out though. I did not show one or two pieces. They're off to the side, but the pencils are there with the metal base at the top. They're kind of neat. You know what? This was bolted inside. It goes on the navigator's table for the RCAF or RAF in this case, but you know what? Unfortunately, I had to throw the box out. So in hindsight, did I pay too much? Maybe. You know what? The goal is to sell the stuff, just move it on and not worry about it. It clearly says on here, made in Great Britain, plotter interceptor. And I'm trying to hold this at the same time and not wear it right there. So that's cool. More stuff. So I had one of these before. They're not common. This is a signaling lamp, World War I. And it's hard to shoot because of it's in the way of a camera here. Because, hey, you got to set it up. It's got the tripod. It's got the lamp here. It plugs in. I'll show you the 1918 Edison Swan Electric Company Limited. Signaling Mark II, 1918. No other markings on that. So the body here is broad arrowed, and someone put electrical tape to keep this cap here. That's fine. The difference between the World War I and World War II ones of these is that these ones have a leather piece at the bottom to keep it all together when transporting it, and that strap goes through there, etc. Keeps it all together. And the World War II ones, which they did use, because I have one, has a canvas strap, like the Pattern 37 web type stuff. So not an easy part to get. I had one before. A officer I know purchased it in a heartbeat, and it disappeared. They're not easy to find. What's harder to find is this part, because the legs you don't find, the lamp you find, and you don't find this little part here, which is, it clearly says on here, Helio 5-inch Mark 5. So I've already opened this. What's nice is that the case is not all messed up, and I'm surprised it's not, considering the condition of the place that this came out of. So let's see if I can get this out. Look at that. Pretty, very pretty, very nice condition, nicely marked. There's all these extra parts in here. More signaling. And more. There's even more in here. There's a pile of parts in here. And of course I'm gonna have to all try and put it back in here. I'm actually surprised that it's lasted this long and not been destroyed through time, truthfully, because stuff doesn't get taken care of sometimes. But in this case, this was. I did pick up a couple of them because I couldn't say no, because you're not gonna find them. You find an empty case, you find some parts here and there, but you don't find them complete. And so I bought some extra stands because they were there, and a couple of these, so they'll get listed and put on the website sooner than later, hopefully. Not something you find every day, because of course they're glass, leather, they disintegrate, they get destroyed, they're not around. So there you go. I'm gonna be covered in this by the end of the day. So there's that. Now for the amusing part of box, and let's see what we have here. So yes, I knew who this came from. Thank you very much. Just some cloth, some cap badges, sticking badges. We don't need no sticking badges. So maybe that's a hint. Maybe I go screw myself. I don't know. Okay, whatever. So let's see what we have. I did buy it. I don't remember. I just kind of went, yeah, okay, I'll take it. Is there anything in there? Nothing in there. Why do I have all these Ziplocs? I have no idea. All right. So we have Essex Scottish, brass cap badge, Blazer crest, I'm sure post-war, nothing special. I have brass cap badges in stock, which is why I didn't buy it for $5 million. What I did buy was second div patches, canvas, and in Melton. I got a pair of each. So there's 2 pairs of that. Oh, sorry, 1 pair of that. I bought Essex Scottish shoulder titles. So let's see what we have here. Okay, those are good. Yeah. Oops, there you go. I have canvas, British made, and Canadian made Essex Scottish shoulder titles. Of course, the Essex came the Essex and Kent Scottish after the war, soon after the war. So it's just more stuff, right, to get listed and get sold. An Essex shoulder title, which is nice to have. And actually, just because Bill will say something, because I know he's going to see this, let's go back to the backs, which clearly show, if they were in a nice book, the differences on the backs of the badges. I wish that someone had done a book like that. Right, Bill? So, printed titles. Nice to get. And a set of bullion wire Officers Canada titles. Love the bullion work on there. That's just gorgeous. So there's those. So there's not enough space, so I'll just put them over here. So last but not least, I found this helmet online. I don't buy a lot online. I don't buy a lot out of the States, especially, just because I don't want to deal with the idiots at customs. Sorry if you work for customs, but it's just not worth the drama anymore of dealing with harm and the morality that it is involved with importing stuff. So in this case, I found this and went, okay, yeah, I'm in, I'll buy that. So I bought this helmet, and it's unusual. And I know one guy in Alberta is going to call me and go, I want that, but he may not like the price, because honestly, I can't believe what I paid for it once it worked out to Canadian funds. I didn't pay any duty on it, so that's okay, or any tax. It just got delivered, which I'm very surprised. Camouflage helmet, right? Who cares? So, yep, camouflage, US type camouflage, right? Split pins. So the split pins make that a British helmet, not Canadian. Let's look inside, and yes, I'm saving the best for last. So we're not going to play too much with it because of asbestos. So, and we have a War Office liner inside, which is clearly stamped with the red ink, which I don't think I can even get into there, but don't want to play with this too much. Breathe deeply, don't you know? War Office right there. So why is this good? You know, it's got a good chin strap. Everything's good. But what's unusual about this, and you can just make it out, and in the right light you can see it, 4th Division Motor Transport. That's the only reason I bought it. If it wasn't for that motor transport symbol, I wouldn't have bought this. I'd be like, yeah, another US helmet. No. But it's not a US helmet. 4th Div Motor Transport, green triangle. Yeah, I'm in. That's good. So, you know, I already know the guy, and one guy's going to go, well, you know. I'm like, well, don't buy it. It's not a problem. I paid a lot of money for it after conversion to Canadian. So in hindsight, I probably shouldn't have bought it, but whatever. It is what it is. So there you go. That's the find of the week. More stuff just walked in, so who knows what else is going to happen next. So thanks for looking. Follow me on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. Check out my website, militaryantiquestoronto.com. You know what? We list on the site all the time. Smart people are checking it, 5 days a week to go, oh, look what's newly listed, because the stuff is selling off the website. It's not as soon as it's listed, but sometimes as soon as it's listed, and other times we're going through repricing stuff and going, oh, well, that was $5,000. Let's put it out for 45 or whatever, as an example. So you will, if you're looking at something specific, see that we're trying to move some product, because some of it, like, we have way too much stock. What is there? 35,000 listings on the website, something like that. I don't even remember anymore, truthfully. It's probably 35 or more. And we keep getting more, and we're processing another 500 a week, sometimes more, sometimes 750, sometimes 300. Depends on the week. It depends what's going on. So lots of stuff getting listed. Anyways, check it out. militaryantiquestoronto.com. It's always cheaper on the website, cheaper than eBay. Please buy on the website. It's always cheaper, but there's still some people who won't listen and are still buying on eBay. Anyways, thanks for looking. Have a good day. Take care. Bye.